Best moment on stage.
Best moment on stage.
Yeah.
I was in a production of The Madness of King George III and Alan Bennett play. First show when I got to my secondary school. And it was a beautiful fucking production. I'm lucky enough to have this state-of-the-art theatre, a couple of hundred seats, full sound and lighting rig. Very, very special. And set designers, carpenters, like the works. The set was gorgeous. It looked like a fucking castle. And my part was tiny. It was this, like, I don't know, walk-on part, you'd have to say. And I was playing with my brother too, and he and I've always loved performing with him, and he's a director now. So part of the dream of coming here is so that he and I can work together again one day. And my part was Ramsden Scrimshire. My brother was Boothby Scrimshire. And we were these two fucking idiots, these two suck-ups who come to the court of the king. Boothby, my father, tries to get me a job, and I am just a vacuous fucking idiot. Just nothing going on up here. And I just come on stage. It was very intense play, great performances happening all over. And I just come on stage as this idiot, and the audience were just in stitches, and I didn't do anything. I was just big smile on my face, big bulging eyes, and we were using the costumes from the original National Theatre production, which came with the wigs too. So shave your hair really short, put on the fucking periwig, beautiful like frock coats, everything, the detail, and it was sensational, just so simple. I had nothing, maybe 3 or 4 entrances over the course of the whole show, and each time the same idiot, and it was glorious.
Are you voting?
Cross his finger. Yeah, sure, I'll vote for Bernie.
Yeah, you'll vote for Bernie?
Yeah,
Okay.
my home state in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get one vote.
So it's not compulsory in the UK, or it is?
US to vote.
Oh, US. Sorry, I thought you were talking-
It's compulsory in Australia to vote?
It's compulsory. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
What happens if you don't vote?
You get a fine.
How much?
Don't know because I've always voted.
Worst moment on stage.
Yeah. I did some stand-up comedy for a few years. I've always loved comedy. That's always been the thing for sure over tragedy. And I was good in a way. My problem was that I could never do the same joke twice. I felt like it was an inherently dishonest, because you do something, it's funny, yeah, they laugh, it's funny. Right, that should be it then. Because what's special about going to see a performance or a show is that what you've just seen won't happen again. Like, go see a stand-up comedian 2 nights in a row. That's a depressing experience.
Yeah.
Unless it's a very fucking good stand-up comedian who has a way of making it entertaining, even if you know the jokes, the punchlines, and so on. So I was having to write so much material when I was performing regularly that it started to get hectic. I was writing backstage on my hand, like just seconds before I would go on stage. And I was playing a gig in... I was...
Did you ever do stand-up?
I did. Yeah.
That's such a crazy rule to hold yourself to not do the same joke twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're too harsh on yourself.
It's an impossible bar that no professional host
I know.
It's almost like saying, as a farmer, I'm going to plow my field now. Well, I used the tractor the other day. I'm going to do it a different way. I guess I'll do it by hand. Third day. How am I going to do this? I refuse to do it the same way again.
That's so crazy.
Or a doctor who can't use the same meds. Well, I worked on the last patient, so this guy, well, let's try homeopathy.
Scalpel? Nope, I said that yesterday.
Spoon? Yeah, so it started getting pretty bad, and I was doing a lot of gigs for one Edinburgh Fringe Festival as well as being in a few shows.
Yeah.
This particular gig for the Cambridge Footlights, very high expectations, this is Hugh Laurie, Stephen Fry, the Monty Python gang. This is, the audience are in there expecting some kind of like the crisp. And a lot of the other acts were very polished, really slick comics. And before I got on stage, I just decided to throw my whole set out the window, which I had roughly planned.
I take my hat off to you for that.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah.
Yeah. So I went up, and I remember how I opened. I did a sort of silent bow to the audience. And then I started to build something very strange. I don't really remember too much of what I said. It was basically a red mist. I remember that I broke the microphone stand because I was gesticulating so wildly with it. And I had to get someone out of the audience to come and just sit and hold the microphone stand. So they were there. Then I pulled someone out of the audience and I was going to do something with them, but then I didn't. So they just stood there for the duration of the set right next to me. And I just don't, I remember very little else other than when I got off stage, I was very shaken. And there were some very stirring moments in which I was looking out over this tiny place. It was the basement of this pirate-themed Italian restaurant in Edinburgh. It's called Ciao Roma. It's on Nicholson Street. You'll see it when you're there this summer. It's dark, dingy little space, but deep, so I couldn't even see the pits of the audience. It affected me profoundly after that. I realized then that stand-up comedy is not good for my mental health.
What eventually brought you to clown?
I guess it was seeing the caliber of people that had come out of this place. I've never done any clowning, any clown workshops. I have no experience of it. But seeing the variety, the complete difference between these acts, like what ties them together? It's Gaulier, and that's about it. Like these people have almost nothing in common. So I thought, I will go to this place because this place will help me to channel, because there's something in here, but I don't really understand it yet. So I thought this would be the place to help me because it's not prescriptive.
Best moment on stage, I would probably say the debut of my first solo show that I did at a Sydney Fringe show. That was probably my best moment on stage. I don't know. That was it was so hard. It was awful to like put yourself on stage and go. I mean, when you do a solo show that goes for an hour, you're effectively saying, "Yeah, this is who I am. This is what I got to offer, and you're either gonna like it or you're not." And I have no idea, and like, I just didn't know what to think anymore. And I remember that night before I went on stage, usually I say to people I blacked out, and they actually thought I meant I blacked out. And what I mean is, no, I actually don't remember about an hour before I went up on stage what happened. Like, I just remember being so, like I have no memory about it because the pressure was just so intense. Then I went out there and did this show that I had worked really hard on and put my heart and soul into, and it just, like, went really well, and I was just playing with the audience, and things were coming alive, and it was just a great night.
What kind of show was it? Was it a stand-up? No.
No, not stand-up. No, definitely not stand-up.
Okay. But you did do stand-up.
I did do stand-up. So, like a few years ago, I was like, that's it, I want to change my life. And I knew I had always wanted to, like, actually get into performance and start doing it. And it's funny how, like, the first way you're thinking of approaching that is, well, I'll go do stand-up. So I did stand-up, and in no way am I blowing my own trumpet. Like, my first 5 performances went quite well. I joined this competition. I on my first night, it went really well. It was fantastic. I did the next night, went really well, but didn't get through. But then they gave me a wild card, came back, did that show, smashed that, did really well, got into the grand final. Top 16, did kind of well that on the grand final night. So I performed about like 6 or 7 times. And then no, like, to be honest, like, similar to what Greg was talking about, there was something about, like, not being good for your mental health. Like, like, only after 7 performances, I was just like, I cannot keep this up. Like, I just can't keep doing this. And I would work really hard to develop some of the things I developed. There's 2 things to it. But yeah, I would work really hard to develop things I had developed. But I was just like, I'm not a stand-up. I can't do this. I can't keep doing this. I don't think I'm that kind of funny guy. I'm just not like this. And it's just too hard on me. Not good for my mental health in some ways. I just go insane, so worried, so concerned, too much. And at the same time, I was also discovering that I was a certain type of performer and actor. And I think my stand-up was somewhat reflecting that, because it wasn't like cerebral and like, you know, playing with like intellectual jokes and stuff like that. And that was when I started to begin discovering that there was what then at the time I wasn't quite aware was something around the era of the clown. But then I started heading more down improv. And as I was doing more and more improv, that's when I started to discover that I liked doing stuff that doesn't play to intelligence. Stuff that's not like, here, I'm going to show how intelligent I am or even how funny I am. But it's stuff where you get up and you do something ridiculous or nonsensical, but you take the audience on for a ride in as much as you are listening and reacting to them. That sends the blood rushing through my body. Like, I love that. Yeah, have you heard Philippe talk about stand-up? Like, I remember, I haven't heard him say it since I've been here, but in the summer course, I heard him say a number of times, like, I hate stand-up.
Okay, and
it's when audience laugh at stand-up, they throw up on their trousers. The stand-up is, I want you to laugh now. And then they laugh. I hate that. I will put stuff out here that you will put out in other environments, back home in improv or whatever, and you'll get a laugh and think, okay, it's funny. But here you'll do stuff like that, and you'll know straight away whether it's raw comedy, like raw humor. Yeah. That's what you discover here.
Yes.
And that's why I love, you put something out and you're like, wow, I thought that might have been funny, and it's not. And I know that for real now. And now I'm going to work with the flop and find something else and listen to them. And
When I was a small child, my brother, sister, and I used to put on puppet shows in the house. We fucking loved that.
Oh, so I could have gone back that far.
Yeah,
there's some stories there too.
Yeah. So
you go first, and then I'll tell mine.
Like, there's a line between when you first start performing, like just in a strange way, and then when you're first getting up in front of an audience in a show that's organized and rehearsed and so on. But I guess it's been since I was young as possible. But that's the whole idea of le jeu, right? That when we're kids, we play those games. We're inventing. We're performing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about it. Yeah, it's the same for me. Like, some of my earliest memories are like learning magic, and it wasn't the magic I loved. It was my I would hear that we were having a family dinner where aunties and cousins and grandpa were coming over. So I would like put on shows so they could watch it and I could entertain purely just to entertain, because there's just something exciting about it. And I would like make putt courses in the backyard and people come over and I'd love to like show them these things. And so I guess it goes back to a child thing, a childlike thing, which is a very leisure, finding the game thing, childlike games, all that type of stuff. Like, it goes back to there where you enjoyed that type of presentation. And so one of my earliest performance memories would be doing magic tricks in the backyard with the family sitting. There's a photo of me with like all the family sitting in front of me on chairs, and I'm there with like the ball secretly behind my hand, ready to do my trick, you know.
Yeah. Coming back to your own question, social taboos that you would get rid of.
That I get rid of?
Yeah, just answer your own questions.
I would get rid of sneezing into the hand. Because like, it's actually quite obvious that like sneezing into the hand is obviously going to be unhygienic. Yeah. And the elbow is right here.
It is.
And it is so much more hygienic.
I learned it in Sweden.
Right.
They have signs in Sweden.
Do they?
Sneeze here.
Oh,
they do, man.
Sweden, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a thing of mine. It's just like, I guess of many people, sneeze into the elbow.
Yeah, sneeze into the crook.
Because this, hardly any comes into contact, unlike the hand.
Yeah, which is everywhere.
Even Mythbusters did a thing on it. They busted it. Sneezing with nothing, sneezing with the hand, and sneezing with the elbow. And of course the elbow won.
Yes.
It's been figured out. Mythbusters did it.
Because no one's going to fucking...
So I never sneeze into my hand now.
No, neither do I.